taking you back to the dawn of the day before the time of the land the lost dinosaurs forgot to remember. Your wife and kids and pets are gonna be okay. We'll call and tell your boss you won't be in today. You're at the dawn of the day before the time of the land the lost dinosaurs forgot to remember.
Welcome back to Gaming in Obscurity. I'm Ryan McSwain, and on this episode we're going to be looking at Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs. It was first published by Waddington's in 1985. It's for 2 to 4 players, and it's pretty short, about 30 to 45 minutes. Now, this was never published on my side of the pond, but I can definitely see where if you had this as a kid, it would have a huge nostalgia value. So I think that's probably where the reason a lot of people would want this game. However, the reason I found it is because it was designed by Julian Cortland Smith, who is more famous for designing Survive, which is a game I really enjoyed, so I wanted to check out other games by the same designer. Now that Survive has been reprinted by Stronghold Games, I'm hoping that Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs will get a little more attention, so let's take a look at the components.
Which will spring prehistoric reptiles to devour whatever remains of life.
The box for this game is just huge. To give you a sense of scale, here's a copy of Age of Empires. As you can see, Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs is a little bit longer, but not quite as thick. So, big box. Now, if you'll take a look, you can see that the picture on this thing is a lot of fun. Very scared explorer, big ferocious dinosaur. As far as I can tell, there were 2 different versions of the box. I believe this is the older one from '85 with the green outline. It also has pictures from the game on the side. It has a blank back. Another version published in the '90s had a red cover and slightly different artwork, but the same just epic fun design. Now, as you can hear, there's a lot of plastic in this game, so let's give you a look at that. Thank you for humoring me while I went Gumby there for a moment. Now I have the board set up for the first turn. You can see there's quite a bit going on. The board itself is really nice. It has some nice detail work, some plants, the swamp. Over here's where the lava is going to come down. The back of the board is actually pretty cool. They took the time to put kind of a map version of the board with the same stuff, but with little details. I love it when they take the time to put something on the back of the board that's cool. Now, each player gets 4 of these explorers. They're very Fireball Island-esque. You've got the little gun, you've got the pit helmet. Like I said, everybody gets 4 of those to move around. Here are the rules. They took the time to explain each of the cards. There are some ambiguities in the rules, but nothing to worry about. I mean, it's not that serious of a game that anyone's going to get too bent out of shape, hopefully. If you'll take a look, there's 6 of these cool little dinosaurs, and it just shows just how awesome this game is when you take a look at these guys. Just look at that lipstick. These guys are tough. Over here we have the lava. You can see here's the volcano that the lava pours out of. It all starts off of the board, and you add it little by little. Pieces of hard plastic there. Looks cool once you start building that stream of lava. Here you've got the dice. Each copy of this game I've seen has a different color. I'm pretty sure these are replacement dice. The one I've seen online have either red or blue come with them. Here are bullets that you can earn as you go out throughout the game. They're made out of hard cardstock. They're pretty sharp looking. Over here we have the temple, and if I had a complaint, it would be I just don't like how Waddington sometimes puts these cardboard buildings in with their games. I have the same problem with my copy of Dark World Village of Fear, where these just don't really hold up over time. Now, no one expected them to have to last 25 years. I admit that, but I just kind of wish they'd gone something else. On the temple are these coins. They look really nice, hard plastic. They have a cool little kind of a design on them. Down here we have the swamp monster. He lives in the swamp, obviously. He's kind of reminiscent of the sea monsters that you see in Survive. And back here, perched on in his pterodactyl nest, we have the pterodactyl. Isn't that just the pinnacle of the hedonism that went into the design of this game? It's just awesome. He flaps his wings. According to the diagram here in the rules, he is able to pick up explorers with his beak. Oh. And, of course, there's no reason they had to do that, but man, aren't you glad they did? Flapping his wings, put him back in his nest. And that is pretty much what the board looks like. You can kind of just get an idea of these mountains. They lock underneath the board right here with the dinosaurs all in their caves. Here is the deck of cards. We'll take a closer look at this when we go through the gameplay. To win Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs, you want to be the first explorer to get 3 coins from the temple and then escape the valley again. Now, each turn is pretty simple. You first thing you do is you draw a card, and if possible you do what it says, and then you roll a die and you move one of your explorers that distance, and that's a full turn. Then play just proceeds clockwise. Now, the cards can do a variety of things. You can get a gun, which allows you to pick up bullets from the ammo dump and control dinosaur movement. There are cards that cause one of your explorers to die of thirst if they can't get to water. There are cards that control the volcano and the various dinosaurs. There are also cards that can save you from the various perils or throw you into those perils. Now, each type of dinosaur moves a distinct way. The Tyrannosaurus Rexes, they will, you usually get to move more than one of those at a time when you draw the card. And if they move into the same space as an explorer, you pick up that explorer and you move them to the lair with the dinosaur, and they are trapped there until the player draws a card that allows them to escape. Now, the swamp monster, the way that he works is he moves, it may be a she, we'll call her Nessie. The swamp monster will move one space at a time, and once she picks up and kills a character, that character leaves the game completely. So you're probably not going to want to spend a lot of time in the swamp. Now, the Pteranodon, I know I called him a pterodactyl earlier, sorry about that. When you draw that card, it's one of the best cards to get because the pterodactyl is able to pick up any explorer and move them anywhere into any open space on the board. Typically, a player is going to use this to move one of their own explorers all the way to the temple. However, someone could also pick up another player's explorers and drop them in the swamp, which would be a pretty good way to screw somebody. The lava will slowly build up and fill the board. Each time you draw the lava card, it adds one piece of lava to the mountain. It starts out blank, you add one at a time. Now, once the lava reaches the board, you begin to add 3 at a time to fill hexes up. It sounds like that would move pretty fast, but to be honest, when we play, the lava has not really been an issue. It just doesn't move quite fast enough to hinder anyone. Now, like I said, once you've finished resolving the card draw, then you roll a die and move one of your explorers that many spaces. You're not allowed to split your roll between explorers, which is pretty unfortunate. Most of the time when we play, I see people use the die to move one explorer all the way to the temple and back, which, you could do that. Now, if you take a look, everyone starts outside of the valley and move their players in one at a time. There is some benefit to moving multiple explorers rather than just one all the way down because, like I said, the goal of the game is to make it out of the valley with 3 of those coins from the temple. There are some things that can hinder you. If you move your player into water, they stop. It no longer is controlled by the die roll. After you can either instead of rolling the die, you can either move one space out of the water, or you can move one space and stay in water. If you'd like to avoid that penalty, you can also move across the bridge. The same penalties apply for moving in the swamp. It's one space at a time, so it's a very dangerous place to get into. Now, once you have gotten a treasure out of the temple, which is also doesn't have to be an exact roll, you grab one of those coins, and it may seem counterintuitive, but once one of your explorers has a treasure, that explorer moves with 2 dice instead of 1. And I know it seems like they would be weighed down by the treasure, but at the same time, I guess they might be hightailing it out of there once they have what they need. And like I said, the entire point of the game is to use your explorers to get 3 of those coins out of the valley. Once you're out of the valley, you're able to enter and exit as much as you want. So that doesn't stop the game once one of your players is left. If you're at all familiar with Survive, you've probably noticed that Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs does not seem nearly as strategic. However, that may have not always been the case. Julian Cortland Smith mentioned in a thread on Board Game Geek that the game he originally designed is not exactly what ended up being released by Waddington's. In the original game, movement wasn't random. You started the game with bullets. There were more elements moving around other than the dinosaurs. It sounds like it would have been a really great game that would have appealed to the modern Board Game Geek more than maybe the game that was published. Still, this game was a huge success when it came out, and it's easy to see why. There's a lot that really makes this game really, really fun for people to play. The moving around the dinosaurs, swooping down with the pteranodon, I mean, all of these things add up to just a good time. And it's going to be a game that's going to appeal to a wide variety of ages. It's going to appeal to non-gamers maybe a little bit more because of just that it kind of looks like a toy and kind of looks fun. Now, Julian Cortland Smith also mentioned in that thread and in a few other places on Board Game Geek that that Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs and Survive / Escape from Atlantis are actually 2 parts of an uncompleted trilogy. The 3rd game was never released. It's called Mammoth Mountain. It's set in the Stone Age, and now that Survive has been republished by Stronghold Games, I would love for someone to pick up Mammoth Mountain and finally get that to see the light of day so that we can enjoy it. Because Julian Cortland Smith's designs are a lot of fun. Survive was popular long before it was reprinted. And Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs, I mean, it's really fun to see how much imagination went into making this game. And I'd love to see what else this guy could come up with. Now, next episode, we're going to be taking a look at 5 Card Nancy. This is a homemade copy of a game that's never been commercially released. It's a game that most people probably haven't heard of, but it was created by Scott McCloud, who's one of my favorite comic book creators. So we're going to have a lot of fun looking at that. And until then, good luck finding those grails. Grrr.